In 1997, I went to Botswana, and that's when I really fell in love with Africa and what it has to offer. I think anybody that I've spoken to who's been to Africa, most of the people get it, and Africa gets them. For me personally, it's an escape. And now not only have I found that escape, but I've found a way to try and use the name and the position for good. So for me, I have this love of Africa, which will never disappear. It will be there, and I hope that it carries on, with my children as well. I have huge amounts of passion for the causes and for the interests and charities that I'm involved with. Lucky me that I've got the Prince bit, so that I'm actually passionate and able to make a difference.
It's an incredible gift to have that talent, to have that ability to make people feel as if they are loved and they are appreciated and they are thought well of, that they matter. I haven't seen many people in my life being able to do that. His mother was one, Harry is another.
Why Africa in the first place? Why have you been spending so much time there? Why are you so committed to it?
Numerous reasons, I guess. I think the first time that I went to... I don't know how old I was when I first went to Africa. I was tiny. I went to, I think, with my dad to a Spice Girl concert in Johannesburg, perhaps?
Yes.
Not that I'm particularly proud of.
Not that that's stuck in your mind or
No,
anything, but yeah.
but weirdly, that was one of the first times I went there. And then I think in 1997, I went to Botswana, and that's when I really fell in love with Africa and what it has to offer. I think anybody that I've spoken to who's been to Africa, most of the people get it, and Africa gets them. For me personally, it's an escape. And now not only have I found that escape, but I've found a way to try and use the name and the position for good. So for me, I have this love of Africa, which will never disappear. It will be there, and I hope that it carries on, with my children as well. I take huge satisfaction out of putting smiles on other people's faces. I don't have any reason to explain that, but I suppose it's different for me because I view that as being my role. I always look at myself thinking, if there was somebody else in this role, could they do better? And that comes back to my competitive streak, because if someone could do better, then I'm not doing enough. I think anybody in my situation or anybody in Prince Lesotho's situation would be doing exactly what we're doing, because you only have to spend a day here with the kids and realise what you're doing is fantastic.
A critic might say, though, exactly that. You're escaping. You're a British prince. Why aren't you here concentrating on things here? Why are you going out to Africa?
I never went there to start up a charity. That was not my plan. I'm not one of those people who wants to started a charity in Africa to my list of things that I know I need to do before I die, because I'm not like that. For me personally, I get a huge kick out of helping people that in certain areas aren't being helped as much as I think they should be. Like Lesotho, yes, I can escape there, but while escaping there, it gives me this huge ability to be able to be myself and do things the way that I want. Right at the beginning, we sat down and tried to work out where we could have the biggest effect and where we thought the biggest problem was. There's a huge majority of very, very young boys, kids aged 9, 10, all the way up to 17, 18, with no education at all. And it just seemed, if we're going to make a difference anywhere, that's where we really need to make the difference, because it's wrong that a 9, 10-year-old kid should be armed with a stick, wrapped in a blanket and a pair of wellies, and that's all they own, up in the mountains, 2,500 metres or whatever it is. That, to me, seems incredibly wrong. And the Hope Boys project is huge for us. We've built a few schools in some of the most remote places in Lesotho, and these kids are walking, 3 to 5 hours away to come to learn every single evening after the day's finished. And we've got volunteer teachers teaching them, and they come and they want to learn. They get a hot meal, they get a blanket, they get new wellies, gloves if they need it during the winter. We've proven it within Lesotho. We know where else we can go. We can go to Botswana, we can go to Malawi, we can go everywhere else. And yes, there'll be different challenges there. But geographically, I don't think anything will be as hard as Lesotho. So why not? If you've proven a model and it's scalable, why not try and help as many young people as you can? Because at the end of the day, Tom, for me, this is not just about HIV. This is about family planning. This is about empowering women to be able to make their own decisions. I now view life very, very differently to what it used to be. I used to bury my head in the sand and just let the sort of everything around you just sort of tear you to pieces. And now, for me, I can see exactly where I want to take it. So the fact that I've managed to keep Sentebale going, or we've managed to keep Sentebale going for the last 10, 11 years, has been fantastic because now everything else that I'm involved with makes sense to me, and I'm just getting started. You know, I always feel as though I need to make something of my life. I was fighting the system, going, I don't want to be this person. You know, my mother died when I was very, very young, and I don't want to be in this position. But now I'm so, I don't know, energized.
Fired up is the word that comes to mind.
Fired up and energized to be lucky enough to be in a position to make a difference.
About a year after the opening of that flagship centre, Sentebale ran its first camps for adolescents living with HIV in Botswana, the start of a planned expansion across sub-Saharan Africa.
You must go and see the work. You must go and see what's happening. Going to see the result of it is the enchanting part, because you see how grateful people are, how much you've changed their lives. It makes you want to do more. If his mother was alive, she'd still be doing the work that she set out to be doing, and he's carrying it on in the best possible way.
If you're me, if you're your average Joe, if whoever you are, if you can't affect politics and change the big things in the world, then just do whatever you can do, whether it's in your local community, your village, your local church, walking down the street, opening a door for an old lady, helping them cross the road, whatever it is, just do good. Why wouldn't you? We're flooding everybody's minds with negative stories. And then every time a good story comes around, everyone goes nuts about it. Well, let's make a bigger thing about the good stories, and let's make them more often and more frequent, because the good stories is what make people tick every day. Surely, you know? It's fun to be good, and it's boring to be bad. But you can be naughty as well.